that is holy, I've never clapped eyes on your poor sister.
Drop the act, hag. You was the last to see Mayrina.
Just let her go. Please.
Thank goodness you're here, sweetie. I don't know what's come over these boys.
Stop this. We won't ask again.
How about you all just calm down? What's going on here?
Careful! Don't trust a word out of her mouth. Our sister went to the hag, and we ain't seen her since.
Hand over heart, I don't know their sister. I will gladly help you all look for her, though.
Enough. Where is she?
Ethel, what did you do to their sister?
Bollocks! You were supposed to rush to my defense, love. Fat lot of good you are. Some advice? You ever darken my door, you'd best have that head bowed and an apology at the ready. Bye-bye now.
Bloody hells. She just disappeared. Ain't seen nothing like that before.
She could shoot fireworks out of her backside for all I care. The hag has Rena.
Will someone please tell me what's going on?
It's our sister, Mayrina. Well, she was in a bad way after her husband died.
Started saying weird things, like how she was gonna bring him back.
Next thing, she's gone looking for the hag. Of all the stupid things to do. And we haven't seen her since. And no good ever came from dealing with a hag.
None of this matters, all right? We need to get her back, and fast!
Hags are dangerous, unnatural things. Even this place feels warped and twisted.
I don't remember bloody asking you.
Hold on, Joel. Let her talk. What would you suggest?
Trust a more experienced soul. I'll find your sister.
Are you joking? I ain't got a clue who you are. No way I'm leaving Rena to you.
But, Joel...
Not a chance. We're getting her back on our own. Now, come on.
Transforming into a mind flayer might have its perks. At least then I could float over this muck.
Not one for roughing it, I see.
Wallowing in filth is for pigs and children, my dear.
Pigs, children, and people with a little bit of grit.
A chill runs up your spine. You feel like you're being watched. You blink and the wilderness changes. A swamp, stinking and insidious, assaults your senses.
Take a breather, lovelies, and have a bite to eat on me. Auntie E. Poisoned apples? This bitch.
The murderous glare of a redcap, a fey creature known for its bloodlust, greets you. That noise. Is the creature pretending to be a sheep?
Bah! Bah!
All right, time to skulk about. Must be the tree from the note to Gorga.
Oladin has sent word
What's
of your
that cleft
progress.
there?
I am pleased that the Rite of Thorns has began. I depart soon from Cloakwood to Baldur's Gate. Should you need further aid from my circle, now is the time to ask. Once cloistered, the Emerald Grove will be the Shadow Druid's domain, and you its first druid. In Faldorn's memory, Archdruid Alis. We have to warn the druids right away.
Why are you here? I sent you to Zevlor.
I know the truth. You mean to take the grove for the Shadow Druids.
What? That damn nose of yours has gone poking in our business.
Mistress Oladin, I can explain.
Shh. No need. It couldn't be helped.
Korga! What is the meaning of this?
You think yourself quite the spy, don't you? Go on, tell him.
Take this letter, Wrath. It will explain everything.
What in the... Cloakwood? Korga, have you lost your mind?
Halsin is weak, Wrath. But in the shadows, we are strong. We are safe. There is no other way.
You and Halsin welcome untouchables to your midst. You defile the grove for the sake of harmony.
Oladin speaks truth. Who among you disagrees? Who would see this grove in ruin?
The choice is made. Korga, burn the tainted away. Start with the snake.
As you say, Oladin.
The shadows won't save you. They'll corrupt you. Stop this while you can.
No. You don't know what you say. In shadow, we are purified.
Korga's voice breaks and her lips tremble. She heard reason in your words.
Maybe I need to remind you of the Grove's legacy.
Korga eyes you intently as you speak the text etched into the frescoes. By claw and tooth, from root to thorn, the old oak's grove to wildlings sworn. The forest rose with claw and tooth to tear the darkness from its roots.
When the darkest hour fell, it was us that brought light. Sylvanas demands we illuminate shadow, not hide within it. How was I so blind?
Careful, Korga. The shadows don't forgive.
I belong to the shadows no longer. You've no power over me.
You would question my power. Mother Earth, hear me. Grant me your wrath.
Right back into it. Ready for another round?
You once called me a monster. Seems I've proven you right.
Protecting the circle was natural. But you chose the wrong path.
I betrayed Sylvanus himself, led the circle to shadow. We will stop the rite, and I will stand trial. My fate lies with the Tree Father. May he have mercy.
And what of Zevlor's people?
We will grant them safe harbor until they depart. Meanwhile, help us contend with the goblins. Perhaps we can dissuade them from attacking.
How did the Shadow Druids even find
It began
you?
with a letter. There was no messenger. It simply appeared. Oladen came soon after. An army was coming, she said. Goblins, drow, and more still. Legions upon legions. The druids of Cloakwood knew the dangers this would bring. They ordained that all circles cast the rite to shelter from the storm. Oladen taught me to harness the Tree Father's power to wall us in. In return, well, you know the rest. I would turn the grove over to them. I won't forget the wounds I've inflicted. I pray Halcyon returns to heal them in full.
You have saved Korga from herself. I cannot thank you enough.
You may have won over Korga, but I'm not so easily swayed.
Oh, my savior. I wish you could have visited in better times.
The wall focuses on you, calmed in your presence.
We've ceased our ritual, but that's not an invitation for you to do as you please. Be respectful of this place.
I knew Korga was desperate, but I never imagined she'd get Cloakwood involved. You pulled her from the brink. She owes you her life.
You've known her longer. Has she really changed?
By all appearances, yes. When I look at her, I see the Korga I once knew, but it could be another lie. I pray it isn't.
I'm told the druids have stopped their damn chanting. What happened?
Kagha's agreed to stop the ritual.
Truly? Ilmater's ashes. I never thought she would actually see reason. Thank you. We still have the goblins to contend with, but you've given us time to prepare. I need to ensure my people make the most of it. But here, left over from my soldiering days, it's sparse thanks for what you've done for us. And I'm afraid I have more yet to ask.
Tell me what you need.
You've bought us some time here, but the goblins are still massing out there. We'd need an army of our own to escort us safely to Baldur's Gate. And while I don't doubt your abilities, you're no army. There may be a way, though. Goblins are ill-disciplined. It's unlike them to organize so cleverly. Somebody must be leading them, bringing discipline to their ranks. Take out that leadership, and they'll scatter. It's no small thing to ask, but I've seen you fight. You're equal to the task.
Kill the goblin horde's leaders? I'll see what I can do.
Everyone in this camp depends on it. Thank you. We'll be ready to leave as soon as you give word.
My condition likes being ignored as little as I do. I must consume another artifact. And soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Good God. It hardly has any effect. Oh, Mistra, have mercy on us all. Listen, I need to speak to you, to all of you. It would be unconscionable of me to remain silent.
Go on. You're among friends.
I might just be about to remedy that. You have to know who I was. You have to know who I really am. What I am is a walking shadow of the promise I once held. I'm what one might call a wizard prodigy. who from an early age could not only control the weave, but compose it, much like a musician or a poet. Such was my skill that it earned me the attention of the mother of magic herself, the Lady of Mysteries, the goddess Mystra. She revealed herself to me and she became my teacher. In time, she became my muse, and later even my lover.
It seems you and I have had quite different experiences concerning Mystra.
It is fair to say her intimacy is not easily won. Nevertheless, I did. We enjoyed each other's company. Body, mind, and soul. But even so, I desired more. You see, no matter how powerful a wizard we mortals can become, we never scratch more than the surface of the weave. Mystra keeps us in check. There are boundaries she doesn't let us cross, yet every time I was with her, I stood on the precipice, gazing into the wonders that lay beyond. I sought to cross her boundaries.
That's as tantamount to heresy as a wizard can come.
Perhaps. But enticements beyond the perimeters of mortality are powerful motivators. I tried to convince her. I pouted. I pleaded. Swore my ambition was only to serve her better. But she only smiled and told me to be contented. But inconceivable as it seems to me now, I shared a bed with a goddess, and yet I wasn't satisfied. So I sought to prove myself worthy to her instead. We come now to the crux of my folly. Shall I share the story behind it, or would you rather head straight to its sordid finale?
I'm intrigued. Tell me all.
Very well. Here goes. Once upon a very long time ago, a mighty lord lived in a tower. A flying tower, to be precise. I'll save his history for another time, but the gist of it is that he sought to usurp the goddess of magic so that he could become a god himself. He almost managed, but not quite, and his entire empire, Netheril, came crashing down around him as he turned to stone. The magic that was unleashed that day was phenomenal, roiling like the prime chaos that outdates creation. Even the weave itself could not withstand the onslaught. It fractured, then shattered, and all magic was lost to the mortal realms, until the day Mystra returned. She restored the weave, reuniting all its scattered shards. Or so I thought. Until, in the course of my studies, I learned of a book. A Netherese tome in which a piece of the fractured weave had been sealed beyond her reach. What if, I thought, what if, after all this time, I could return this lost part of herself to the goddess?
I must admit, that sounds like tempting proposition.
I don't discredit my reasoning. Alas, that my execution was rather less sound. I was certain that this deed of raw power, draped in romance, would convince Mystra to take me by the hand and welcome me into her hitherto forbidden domains. I was mistaken. I obtained the fabled book and took it into my study. As for what happened next... Here. Place your hand over my heart. Let me show you.
You feel the tadpole quiver as you realize Gale is letting you in, into the dark. You see through Gale's eyes, staring down the corridors of a dread memory. A book, bound, and suddenly opened. Inside there are no pages, only a swirling mass of blackest weave that pounces. Its teeth, its claws, it's unstoppable as it digs through and becomes part of you. And God says it ever hungry.
How are you still alive?
Thankfully, the moment I absorbed the fragment wasn't enough to kill me outright. It was only the beginning. This Netherese blight, this orb, for lack of a better word, is balled up inside my chest. And it needs to be fed. As long as I absorb traces of the weave from potent enough sources, it remains quiet. Were it ever to fully destabilize, however.
You will die.
Rather worse, actually. I will erupt. I don't know the exact magnitude of the eruption, but given my studies of Netherese magic, I'd say even a fragment as small as the one I carry, it'd level a city the size of Waterdeep.
Is there nothing we can do?
We might chance upon a king's collection of magical artifacts around the corner. We might cross paths with a miracle round the bend. Then again, we might not. All of this, it must feel like a betrayal. Say the word, and we'll part ways.
We've come this far together, and we'll continue on together. That is how it will be.
That is a great relief. Oh, a great relief indeed. You truly are a soul that steals my own. From all my new rallied heart, I thank you. I thank you all. I understand if you stand against me. I'm humbled if you stand with me. Either way, I will do my best not to let you down. I stand at a precipice, but if you do not give up hope, neither shall I. I'll fight. I'll resist as long as I can. Now, even I am tired of the sound of my own voice. Let us venture forth.
The goblins still infest the roads. As long as their leaders live, Zevlor's people are trapped.
To think, Gales had this devastating orb within himself the entire time, and only just mentioned it. Who'd keep a secret like that from his friends? You can't trust anyone these days.
Sir Gale's been walking around this whole time with some sort of magic bomb in his chest. I'm not normally one to begrudge someone their secrets, but that's something I should know.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I was wondering about that mighty lord you told me about in your story. Karsus, I
The
assume.
very same. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistral, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like. To be a god. To know yourself, to be untouchable. To be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel. And with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistral sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral. The end of Karsus, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly.
Praise be that Mistral was reborn as Mistra.
Quite so. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mistra, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go.
If you ever feel the Netherese magic overtaking you, what will you do?
If it should ever come to that, if I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes. I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the Underdark. I will await that death, alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls.
You carry a Githyanki relic. I will have an explanation. Or your head.
Walk away. Now. I won't warn you again.
Relic? This is about that artifact, isn't it?
That artifact is an heirloom of my people. Likely she spilled Githyanki blood in order to steal it. This cannot stand.
Heirloom? Plunder from some conquered realm, more like. This artifact is the only thing keeping us from becoming slaves to our parasites. Be glad I have it.
Stop squabbling, both of you.
Remove yourself if you are so easily offended. This is not your concern.
Nonsense. You're just finally showing us what you really are. A reaver to the bone.
Spare your indignity. Every word that spills from your mouth is worth less than the last.
Again, stop this. No sense in us fighting with each other.
Incorrect. Judicious bloodletting settles feuds and roots out the weak, the deceitful.
Do you hear this, tribe? Our lives are at stake, and she wants us to turn on each other.
No others. Just you and me.
What's this even about?
Lae'zel thinks I have something important to her people. She's deluded, clear.
Lies. She carries an heirloom of my people. I must know why.
So, any ideas on how we settle this?
The bad blood must be purged. A jewel, come first light.
You mean I'd get to prove you wrong and thrash you? I love it. Get some rest, Lae'zel. You'll need it. You had every chance to look the other way. But here we are. You chose this.
Spare me the justifications, coward.
If anyone asks, I'll say you were transforming. Don't expect to be mourned.
Shadowheart, stop! You don't have to do this.
She's a liability. It's the artifact we need, not her.
Let me up, and I'll show you.
We need her, Shadowheart. Give her a chance.
Can I do that, Lae'zel? Can I turn my back on you?
Never. Thieves aren't afforded such luxury.
Loosen the grip on your pride for one blasted moment, won't you? We needn't be enemies. There's plenty of those to go around already.
What would you have? That we be friends?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But imagine what we might achieve if we channeled some of that hostility back at our real foes, instead of each other. They wouldn't stand a chance. I don't think there'll be any more trouble between Lae'zel and I, if you were wondering. We can all sleep easier now. Well, apart from all the rest.
That's good. I'd rather keep things friendly between all of us.
You have an interesting definition of friendly, but yes.
Speak.
About your quarrel with Shadowheart.
It is over where I am concerned.
That's a relief. We won't survive this if we don't stand together.
It is through conflict that we strengthen our bonds. Yet I do not recommend Shadowheart seek it again. The next resolution may not end in her favor.
I'll say one thing for our troop. We're not short on drama. I'm glad Shadowheart and Lae'zel settled their differences peacefully. Eventually.
I hope that's the end of this silly quarrel. They'll have no energy for battling our enemies if Lae'zel and Shadowheart are too busy squabbling among themselves.
Very glad Shadowheart and Lae'zel settled things without letting any blood. I would have enjoyed the spectacle, but not losing either one of those lunatics.
Oh, I really thought Shadowheart and Lae'zel might fight to the death over that artifact. A pity. It would have made for a fine night's entertainment.
You've a particular way with words, Gale. Perhaps oration suits you more than battle.
The brothers. I guess they didn't find their sister.
I don't want a crumb left on that plate, girl.
Auntie Ethel, please. One more bite and this pie is gonna come back up to say hello.
Don't make me get the wooden spoon. You're eating for two, so get to it. If it isn't the cheekiest pup of them all, you'd best have one hells of an apology for me, young lady.
Tell me, hag, is this intimidation part of the bargaining process? Or does that come after?
Oh, the wizard thinks she's smart because she can read. You know, I was gonna give you a swift kick up the arse and show you the door, but I think you and I could have a bit of fun together. Gods grant me patience. Eat up, Mayrina. I won't say it again.
That's Marina? I have some bad news for her.
Keep that hole under your nose shut, or things will get messy.
The choice is yours. There's really no good decision to be made here.
What is it? What's going on?
Auntie Ethel killed your brothers.
That can't be true. Auntie Ethel.
They were being rude, and I detest rudeness.
You monster! The deal is off!
Enough! Away with you! Blessed silence at last. Some time in the cage should do her good. And you'll regret sticking your nose in my business.
I'm Fury. I am... I've got it. What now?
Enjoy playing with your new friend. Bye-bye.
for you.
Put the wind back in my sails.
I can't have gone far.
You are as thick as they come, sweetness. This is my personal playhouse, and you don't have an invite. Get out!
Tell me where Marina is.
Has that wriggler eaten your brain already? Leave. Or you'll end up in tonight's stew. You'll go nicely with Marina. She's already marinating. Ha!
My dearest Ephraim, he begged me to hold the deadly disease that ravaged her. Stop, please.
You feel crushing waves of fear as the presence within the door recoils. It can't let people through, not again.
What happened last time you opened?
Images flash. A man cowering, a bag open at his feet. Gold coins spilling onto the floor. His cries for mercy are cut short as the hag slices into him, dismembering him painstakingly, limb by limb. She cackles, the man's remaining flesh twisted and contorted, becoming the twisted surface of the door before you. Flee, you feel it cry.
I have to get through now.
Frustrated, the door rattled. You see the hag and yourself. You lay bleeding as she leans over you, a smile on her face. Her teeth, a row of deadly needles, shine as they dive into your throat, blood spraying.
Not happening. The hag will die first. Count on it.
The door twitches, but stays firm.
If I kill the hag, you'll be free.
You see the hag. She walks through the door, its form shimmering. The lightest touch of hope brushes your mind as the presence within retreats.
No, no! Don't look! Mustn't look, mustn't see!
Are you all right?
I see it. What's to come?
You realize there's magic at work. Some type of spell. An illusion.
Me. Dead. Dead! Flesh rotten, bone shining!
Hey, look at me.
No. No! Can't stop! Can't! Gods, don't hurt me! Oh, please, 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 please!
What? Why would I hurt you?
Monster! Monster! For mind dripping, flesh peeling, mind flayer!
Look at me. I'm not a mind flayer.
No! No! Mind flayer! Get away! Get away!
No intention of letting that happen. Let's have a look at myself. Let's have a look at myself.
Look. Don't.
A thief who tried to steal from Auntie. Now the ghouls guard my home. My gentle Lauren. He wished to know what was to come.
Don't look. Don't.
This poor dear wished never to lay eyes on her family again.
What in the bloody hell's is going on?
I removed the petrification spell.
You did what? But you can't!
You want to be petrified?
I've the bloody bite! Lannick was bait! The petrification stopped it spreading! Oh no! 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 Oh God! No! Ah! Help! I don't want to die!
What's that? My sweet Callum, whose beloved asked that his beauty never fade.
You feel the barest hint of life from within the door.